Good afternoon or good morning. Welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning or this afternoon. I'll have a few words to share with you in a few minutes. But before I do that, I'd like to call to order the approval of the annual meeting minutes from November of 2024. The meeting minutes were distributed in the pre-read package, and I ask for a motion to approve the minutes at this time.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to start off by acknowledging the newest board members that we have here within Brand USA. Gus Anorcha, President of Princess Cruise Lines, representing our transportation sector, and Danny Hughes, President of the Americas at Hilton. Now, Danny, unfortunately, is not with us. He's doing exactly what he should be doing, which is exercising his time in PTO with his family. But I do know that Gus is with us, and we welcome him to the board of directors. Now, being the chair of Brand USA is an inspirational time for me. Being in the industry for as long as I have, and of course, taking over after Todd Davidson in November of last year, I missed out on the opportunity at that time to thank Todd, first of all, for his leadership, and to let you all know how excited I was to take over as chair of Brand USA. The good news for me and the easy part is that Fred Dixon and his team, the team that he's assembled, are really focusing on some of the key initiatives and things that are important to our industry as a whole. Those things have changed a lot since November of last year, and we've spent a lot of time talking about that. I dare not use the word pivot, but I'm going to, simply because that's really what we're doing nowadays. But it's really about focusing on how do we market our amazing country in the times in which we are in. Some call it uncertainty, but the most important thing that we need to realize is that Washington, D.C., U.S. is still very aspirational and inspirational to several that might be looking at traveling. And as such, Brand USA is really focusing on that in a lot of different ways. So, Todd, thank you very much for your leadership as chair. And as I take over, I look forward to working closely with Fred and his amazing team as they focus on the priorities of promoting our country. And at this time, I'll turn it over to Fred.
Thank you very much, Elliot. Good day, everyone. It's great to have you all here. Thank you for everyone that is dialing in, and good day to the board. Elliot, it is terrific to have you as a chair. I'm really excited to work with you in this role. You and I have known each other for many years, my 20 years in New York, and we are thrilled on behalf of the staff to be working with you in this capacity. On behalf of the staff, I want to welcome Gus and Danny to the board as well. We appreciate your desire to serve. I also want to take this opportunity to acknowledge and introduce the newest member of our leadership team, our new CMO, Leah Chandler. Many of you may already know Leah. She was most recently Chief Marketing Officer at Discover Puerto Rico, where she built the marketing team from the ground up and was the brains behind many creative and award-winning campaigns. I'm excited to have her join us. That is an understatement. And with her hiring, we now have a complete leadership team that you see here on the screen. Now, I know it's a dynamic time for the industry, and there is a lot going on. And of course, more on that in just a moment. But first, this is the time of year we are required to close out the prior year's work and to submit our annual report. And that includes our record-setting FY24 economic impact study, which also tracks our ROI, as well as our most recent financial audit. Then we will review the year-to-date finances. And the team will walk us through a few of our FY25 successes. And finally, we will take a look at a quick look ahead at our FY26 plans. Now, it's my pleasure to turn the program over to our Chief Corporate Affairs Officer, Aaron Woden-Schwartz, to walk us through the FY24 annual report. Aaron.
Thank you very much, Fred. Thanks to Elliot and to the whole board for being here. Thanks to the public that's tuned in. As Fred mentioned, even though we're about halfway through our fiscal year 25, this is always the time of year where we deliver the formal close to the prior year. Partly that's because that's when it's due. Actually, we submit this to the Secretary of Commerce, who will go ahead and transmit it to the committees of jurisdiction on Capitol Hill by May 15th. But we also need to have the final year-end arrival figures, as well as our audit completed in order to close out this document. So the board's received this as a pre-read. And the public will see it on our website as soon as it's cleared by the Commerce Department, probably sometime in mid-May. And that's sort of more or less the state of play. As a reminder to the board and to anybody keeping track at home, the FY24 business plan, which is also available on our website, brandusa.com, is the plan that was approved by the board back in the summer of 2023. And so this is about 18 months later or so since that moment in time. But anyway, this is the single best encapsulation of everything that we were able to bring forward last fiscal year to affect travel to the United States, to create jobs, and to create vitality for our communities through the power of international travel. And on the next slide, I just want to call out a couple of key highlights. As Fred mentioned, this annual report does include our annual economic impact study, which is available on our website. And we've compiled here some infographics about both last year's specific results as well as our 10-year aggregate results. And I'll call out just a few key ones here because we're very proud that we were able to put significant resource in market and have really a banner year in terms of our results. So we were responsible last fiscal year for an incremental 1.6 million visitors who spent more than $6 billion directly on their trips here to the United States, which led to a total economic output, a GDP effect of nearly $13 billion, and support for 80,000 US jobs. Very, very proud of that. And obviously, those jobs exist in a variety of sectors of the economy and every community around this country. And then over the past 12 years, you can see the aggregate results, which are, of course, inclusive of a number of COVID-affected down years. Over 10 million incremental visitors that are directly attributable to our efforts, nearly $35 billion in direct visitor spending. And you can see here almost $10 billion in state, federal, and local tax receipts that underpin services for Americans every day in their lives that were subsidized by these foreign visitors that were brought here, in a total economic impact of nearly $76 billion. And just to bring this to life a little bit more, we do have a bit of a sizzle reel that we'd like to show that will show some more color around our body of work in 2024, as well as the economic impact we're able to have on businesses and communities around this country. We'll just show that video now.
International travel is an engine for national wealth and jobs. In today's competitive global landscape, Brand USA is fueling commerce to keep the United States the #1 travel destination in the world. By engaging with consumers and tour operators and travel agents, Brand USA inspires interest and drives bookings, ensuring U.S. travel experiences are prominently featured and sold worldwide. In 2024 alone, Brand USA showcased more than 1,200 U.S. businesses to the world, drove more than 1.6 million legitimate visitors to the U.S., and supported nearly 80,000 American jobs. Since 2012, these efforts have generated 10.3 million incremental visitors and produced $76 billion in total economic impact, from airlines, hotels, restaurants, and attractions to manufacturing, construction, retail, and finance. A decade of mega events ahead will help create the USA's next tourism boom. Brand USA will lead the way, leveraging global milestones like the USA's 250th anniversary, the 2026 World Cup, and the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics to drive U.S. exports and jobs through international visitor spending. Through bold strategy and collaboration, Brand USA ensures the United States remains the world's top travel destination, driving commerce and community wealth for years to come.
So thank you for everybody's attention to that wrap video of our past year. Thank you, Mr. Chair. As I said, this report will be available online once it's cleared by Commerce, but very proud of really a banner year in terms of our economic impact and the results we're able to achieve for our community. So that I will pass it on back. Happy to answer any questions, of course, but that thus wraps FY24.
Thank you, Aaron. Terrific work. And now I'm going to pass it over to our Chief Financial Officer, Don Richardson, for the financial report.
Thanks, Greg. I'm going to start off, and good day to everybody. I'm going to start off talking about the audit report, which is great news to report. It's also part of the annual report that goes to Commerce as well. So the good news is for 10 years, we've had successful audits with no management letter. And that's just an indication of how tight our controls are. And so congratulations to the entire team and also to the finance team as well. But it's really great news to be celebrated. And we're very proud of that. Going to the highlights. Next slide, please. Starting with our revenues, we had $48 million in revenues. It consisted of three components: cash contributions, $36 million. Thanks to our partners, we're actually ahead of schedule where we thought we would be at this moment. $11 million in contributions and $1 million in sponsorships. From an expenditure perspective, we were at $81 million. Our cash reserves still remain strong, and in our travel promotion fund, we're on track to meet our $100 million goal. So all in all, we're in a very good place at this moment. Happy to take any questions from the board or hearing none. Back to you, Mr.
Very good, CEO. Thank you very much, Don. Thank you, Aaron, as well. I'm extremely proud of all of the diligence and the rigor around our financial reporting and financial management. So Don, thank you to you and your team. 10 consecutive years of clean audits and no management letters is just remarkable. And thank you to the team for the brilliant work that they continue to do broadly. Since stepping into this role in July of last year, my focus has been on listening and learning and laying the foundation for what comes next for this organization. From day one, I've been on the road with the team, meeting with partners, hosting listening sessions, and getting a firsthand understanding of what's working and where we have room to grow. From Wyoming, Georgia, and Florida to Tennessee, California, Hawaii, and more, these visits have reaffirmed what I've always known. The power of travel lies in people and place, the joys found uniquely in destinations across America. And these conversations have been invaluable. They've underscored the importance of ensuring our partners not only have a voice, but a seat at the table. And that's why we actively shape our strategic path forward with partner feedback at the front and the center. Now, we've all seen the forecasts, and we all know that things are changing day by day with booking patterns and sentiment. We know that in markets like Canada, that is particularly true. That said, Canada remains our top source market, and Brand USA is deeply engaged there. From our new PR efforts to ongoing trade activity in market, including 2 major trade events this spring, Canada Connect East and Canada Connect West, we are working every angle. And in fact, a member of our team has been on the ground just about every week the past 2 months. So I want to reassure the board and those listening from the public that while there are challenges we have to navigate, we remain laser focused on selling the United States in the most impactful and resonant way possible each and every day. Now, our industry has proven time and again its resilience. We also have, hands down, the most amazing product on the planet and a decade of mega events on the horizon that will generate demand. In addition to Canada, we have been on the ground in virtually all of our top markets over the past few months, from Latin America and Europe to Asia and Australia. And I've been with the team in India and Brazil recently. Feedback from the trade and the media has been consistently positive, and I return from those trips feeling inspired and energized. The key thing to remember is that while we in the industry are immersed in the day-to-day, the average traveler is not. They are driven by the desire to explore, to connect, and to experience something new. And that's where we have to meet them. Now, you're about to hear from the team who has been working in new and integrated ways here at home and across the globe. Jeanette, for example, our Chief AI Officer, has been a force. I'm super proud of the work that she's doing, engaging the industry, representing us at events through sessions and keynotes on AI strategy for destinations and building practical tools that make a real difference. As we look ahead, we know the world around us is changing fast. Innovation and AI are central to how we stay ahead of the curve, how we adapt to new realities and fluctuating situations, and how we lead with purpose. And our goal is clear: to ensure that Brand USA is not only future ready, but helping guide the industry to be more effective, impactful, and more connected to travelers than ever before. And with Leah now on board as our Chief Marketing Officer, we're actively designing the next phase of our consumer and our trade strategies. This is about evolving USA's travel brand for the future, crafting a narrative that connects deeply with today's travelers and tomorrow's opportunities, and sets the stage for the celebrations in 2026 and beyond. We're also doubling down on strategic storytelling through our growing global PR and communications team led by Chris, our Chief Communications Officer. And this work is critical to keeping the United States top of mind by showcasing the energy, creativity, and variety of experiences our country has on offer. Now, our focus on trade engagement continues to expand as well under Malcolm's leadership as Chief Trade and Product Officer. Whether it's enhancing education through the USA Discovery Program or creating new opportunities in secondary and tertiary markets, our aim is to promote the full richness of the US experience from urban to rural. And that includes a new emphasis on categories like luxury, where we see growing demand and huge opportunity. And business events, a segment that holds tremendous untapped potential as well. So coming into this position, enhancing our industry communications and partner engagement has been a top priority. And Angie Briggs, our Chief Development Officer, has worked across the organization to better align our planning with partner schedules, to give them more leeway in their budget planning, particularly in moments of fluctuation. Her team has also expanded our research and data tools to inform real-time decision-making. So the point of this story is the beat goes on each and every day and every week for us with activity around the globe as we build towards big moments like IPW for the industry in Chicago in June, and a number of exciting announcements that we have planned to keep enthusiasm high as we navigate the channels forward. So with that, I'm now going to turn over to the staff, and I'm going to start with Jeanette to review some top line on recent activity. Jeanette?
Thank you, Fred. As I'm sure our board members are all too aware, generative AI is presenting enormous opportunities for the tourism industry in the United States, but only if we are prepared as an industry to seize those opportunities. So we can't just rely on outspending our competitors when it comes to getting our share of that international travel dollar. We also need to make sure that we're taking advantage of tools, new ways of doing work, so that we're continuing to share the best of the United States with the world. So I see that Brand USA achieving this through 3 areas of focus. First, looking internally at operational excellence. So we want to make sure that the terrific team here at Brand USA, and I've absolutely loved getting to know everybody and doing this work with them, that we are primed to showcase how AI can drive efficiency and innovation in tourism promotion. And that's going to happen through AI-powered marketing, analytics, and decision-making tools. We know that what is going to be asked of DMOs in 2030 is going to look different than it does today. And that's going to be as a result of the changes that generative AI are creating just in the future of work. So this is just about making sure that the staff and the team here are best in class to do that. But then the second part of this work is industry empowerment. So we want to build capacity on behalf of all of our partners throughout the industry so that we all understand the practical applications of AI. We know it's difficult for every single organization to have a chief AI officer. So that's why I'm committed to building in public. I want to make sure that everything that we are learning internally as a team, that these are things then that the industry more broadly will be able to take advantage of, all of these processes. So that's going to look like things like training online to be able to, for DMOs to level up, not just their marketing teams, but how is AI going to affect human resources or finance to make sure that all of these levers that we're pulling, the entire industry is going to be able to pull. It's also looking like speaking and training at state and regional conferences. So just 2 days ago, I was with the team at Travel South, Mr. Manjit here talking about AI. I'll be with Mr. Davidson very shortly at Travel Oregon. So it's like these training opportunities is really bringing to life for the teams that are doing this work, what they need to know. And then the third tranche of this work is going to be the traveler experience. So we want to pioneer AI solutions that are going to make exploring the US more personal, seamless, and memorable for those international travelers. You can see signs of this through recent RFPs that we have issued for itinerary planners and chatbots for our website. This is also going to expand into the B2B realm. So what are the tools that we can create that is going to provide value for leisure travel planners, for the business events community? What are those needs going to be? So we want to make sure that we're building these tools and doing the work that helps to lift up the entire industry. And so that's what I'm focusing on right now. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Malcolm Smith.
Thank you, Jeanette. As Fred mentioned, our global trade and PR teams have been hard at work across the globe this year. And in moments like this, we really are leaning into our B2B relationships with both trade and media. And together with partners representing destinations, attractions, hotel companies, transportation companies, and inbound operators from across the USA, we've really been engaging the international travel trade in a variety of ways. From training sessions to marketplace appointments to in-office sales calls, to press conferences, industry roundtables, desk side visits, and most recently on road shows and a unique co-op opportunity with Major League Baseball that we'll touch on in just a few minutes. But we kicked off the year in Mexico on a sold-out mission with 26 partners visiting Monterrey, Mexico City, and Guadalajara. And in 2024, visitation from Mexico increased 18% to 17 million visitors, making the #2 provider of international travel to the United States. But for many of our partners, this is the #1 market and an incredibly important market. We were there at a unique time. Beginning of this year, there was a lot of new airlift announced, especially some unique routes from Guadalajara and Monterrey, which is lifting seat capacity to about 26 million in 2025. And that opens doors for travelers to experience the United States in new destinations in new ways. And given the strong demand we have from our partners, we're planning to head back in August, hitting Mexico City as well as 2 new markets. And then following Mexico, we had a large delegation head out to Hyderabad for our India mission. As Fred mentioned, he was on that trip as well. India is a country that continues to outperform expectations with over 2 million visitors in 2024, a remarkable 24% increase over the previous year. In all, we had 28 partners from all across the United States. We brought in 92 buyers from all over India and conducted more than 3,000 travel trade meetings. In addition, we did a CEO immersion program. We had 6 CEOs that joined Fred, really got to deep dive into the India traveler. Also had a great experience going to the US consulate in Hyderabad and seeing how visas are actually processed in real time. In February, our next stop was Australia and New Zealand with impressive momentum from both markets. In 2024, more than 1 million Australians visited the United States, and from New Zealand, 257,000, both seeing increases over 2023. But what makes us such a unique market and so attractive to our partners is their length of stay when they come to the United States and their ability to go off the beaten path. These people will go enter through our iconic gateways, but they will also branch out and visit off the beaten path experiences. We had 40 partners in New Zealand and in Sydney over 50. And in Sydney alone, we had almost 50 wholesalers who were joining us, did over 1,000 one-on-one appointments. And this is a market where things like the 100th anniversary of Route 66 really resonates. That great USA road trip really resonates with this market, and a lot of excitement about what's coming in 2026. In March, we went to South America with 18 partners joining us in Bogota and Sao Paulo, 2 markets that show remarkable resilience despite severe currency concerns over the past few years. Colombia, we welcomed 1.1 million visitors in 2024, which is a 14% growth over 23. And Brazil, really remarkable, 17.6% increase to nearly 2 million visitors in 24. And already the first 2 months of 2025 on arrivals, they're up an additional 4.4%. While it's still early in 2025, that places them in the 2nd largest long haul visitation. And I tell you, when we shared that with them, they're incredibly excited. And they want to try to continue to maintain that throughout the year. It really reflects an incredible enthusiasm the Brazilian market has for the United States. And given the growing visitation from the region, we're also seeing a 15% increase from Argentina last year, which is up 33% in the first 2 months of this year, which is incredible, as well as Chile being the only ESTA country in South America. We're going to expand reach and do missions into those 2 markets later this summer as well. Now I'd like to bring to life a little bit of our activities that we've done in South America with a quick 1-minute video. While we were in South America, Jackie Ennis, who's our VP of Global Trade, led a delegation to Japan on a really unique opportunity with Major League Baseball, which also included a trade and media component as well. The MLB Tokyo Series 2025 featured a two-game Major League Baseball matchup between defending 2024 World Series champions, the LA Dodgers, and the Chicago Cubs. The games, along with 4 exhibition games, were held at the Tokyo Dome from March 18th through 20th of last month. Adding to the excitement, of course, was the National League MVP Otani and 4 other Japanese-born players on the 2 teams, which helped set MLB records in Japan for viewership, merchandise sales, and attendance. This initiative created an incredible opportunity to bring together LA Tourism, Visit California, Choose Chicago, Illinois Tourism, and Brand USA, as well with Major League Baseball, creating a unique opportunity to build on the growing Japanese interest in the US, with visitation from Japan up 24% last year over 2023. But a really interesting stat from Major League Baseball, they're seeing their visitation at their games from Japanese travelers up over 300% last year compared to 2019. So this is a powerful moment where we're really looking to convert fandom into travel. Throughout the week, we engage several hundred trade and media professionals throughout the week with educational luncheons. We work closely with JTB to do agent training. We had tickets for some of the trade and media to the games, as well as having dedicated watch party. We also participated in an MLB Fan Fest, which connected more than 450 consumers, immersing them in America's favorite pastime, while showcasing the USA and our partners through high impact branding and messaging. In total, 73 million visitors across Japan tuned in, with an astonishing 30% TV rating. This program really illustrates the power of sports to fuel travel. And as we just saw with the World Cup and the Olympics on the horizons, we see tremendous opportunity to deepen global engagement. And another cornerstone of what we do on the trade team is not just going into markets, but maybe more importantly, bringing the travel, trade, and media into the United States for what we call our immersive destination and product training. It's called our Mega Familiarization Tours, or Mega FAMs for short. And, you know, really nothing beats the experience of experiencing the USA firsthand, from our iconic gateway to beyond the ordinary destinations to our great outdoors. The sights, the sounds, the taste, the smells of really experiencing the USA in person makes such an incredible impact on buyers' ability to sell the United States. And right now, this week, we have 60 Latin American travel buyers traveling across the USA on 6 different itineraries, visiting more than 30 destinations nationwide. And in May, we're hosting 11 more itineraries with buyers from the UK and Europe. Some of the highlights include starting in gateway cities like Washington, D.C., Denver, Chicago, New Orleans, and Seattle. But then the buyers will experience beyond the gateway destinations like Talkeetna, Alaska, Hood River, Oregon, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Laramie, Wyoming, Shreveport, Louisiana, and many more. The Latin America FAMs will complete in Houston, while the UK and Europe FAMs will have their finale in Philadelphia in May. And when they come together at these finales, the delegates will share their experiences and insights, educating one another on their itineraries and the highlights of their itineraries and experiences. They will also meet with US-based inbound receptive operators. So there'd be some one-on-one exchange to really build stronger booking pipelines. And the hosts of the itineraries will convene to celebrate America with the international buyers. So if they've been traveling all around the globe or all around the country, they're also invited to come to Houston and to Philadelphia to be part of that finale. And finally, also as we speak, we're in the 2nd week of the Great American Road Trip in Europe. To share more on this unique trade and media program, I'd like to hand it over to my colleague, Chris Haywood, Chief Communications Officer, who just returned from week 1 in Europe last week.
Yes, I did. Thank you, Malcolm. I appreciate it. And good afternoon, everybody. It was an amazing trip. I'll get into that in a second, but our global communications team and efforts have continued to deliver strong results with recent successes across many of our key markets. So far in this fiscal year, our PR team has actually been in 12 of our 14 international markets. We've hosted over 10 press events, and we've generated over 1,500 pieces of media coverage with more than 2 billion impressions. From the India Sales and Media Mission and Brand USA's Media Brunch in Brazil, to the Great USA Road Trip in Europe that I attended last week, these efforts are generating impactful coverage, elevating the USA globally, and reinforcing our position as a must-visit destination. As Malcolm referenced last week, we officially launched the Great USA Road Trip, our 8-city European roadshow designed to highlight travel to the US and inspire European travelers to discover all the US has to offer through road tripping, tied to the upcoming 100th anniversary of Route 66 in 2026. And I have to say, it really, really resonated. This is a message that really transcends everything. A huge thank you to all of our partners who joined us for this event. We could not have done it without you. We had several partners last week, and then this rotation this week was a different team with new partners, which was great. The initiative featured 2 components: a PR program engaging top-tier consumer and trade media, and a robust travel trade program connecting with valued industry partners. Our PR program successfully kicked off with media events in Madrid, Milan, and Zurich, reaching over 80 key media representatives. These events highlighted the diverse experiences and destinations that make the USA the world's premier travel destination. We're already seeing strong results with positive media coverage across leading European outlets. And I have to underscore, the enthusiasm from our partners was just palpable. Media feedback was highly encouraging, fueling momentum as we continue the roadshow this week across 4 additional European markets: Amsterdam, Paris, Dublin, and today, London. So let's take a look actually at our recap video from our kickoff event in Madrid, Spain.
We are so excited to be kicking off the Great USA Road Trip in Europe in Madrid, Spain. We have been working on this project for a year to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Route 66.
It gives you a flavor of what we do out in the markets. It's really exciting. And like I said, there's been a lot of noise, but when you get on the ground in these markets and you listen to the trade, you listen to the media, there's a lot of enthusiasm. So moving on to Canada, we continue to prioritize and invest in Canada, one of our most important international markets. As Fred mentioned earlier, we recently appointed a new PR agency of record in Canada that was actually underway even before all of the changes there. Fallhaber is our new agency of record, and I will soon be in market week after next for one-on-one media appointments with travel editors of outlets you see here on the screen to really reaffirm our commitment to the Canadian media and continue building on strong relationships to showcase the USA as a top travel destination. Our trade engagement is also strong with recent participation this week, I believe, in Virtuoso on Tour and Discover America Canada events. We're also preparing for our Canada Connect events, which kick off at the end of April, with 35 partners joining us in Toronto and Montreal for pre-scheduled appointments with tour operators and wholesalers, and 21 partners joining us in Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver for pre-scheduled appointments with travel agents. So our commitment remains. These events offer valuable opportunities to connect, collaborate, and drive growth in Canadian visitation to the US. We are also strategically expanding our global footprint to position Brand USA for long-term growth. Our approach remains deliberate and strategic as we continue to extend Brand USA's reach globally. We are in the process of expanding our footprint in Asia Pacific, including opening new representation in Southeast Asia based in Singapore, and that will get underway this month. Additionally, we are exploring new opportunities in Spanish-speaking South America, especially Argentina and Chile, identifying key markets where we can really drive meaningful impact and visitation. Our team is really committed to continue to proliferate the positive storytelling opportunities around the world. Through our Press Pass USA Visiting Journalist program, we are continuing to provide key media with immersive experiences across the country, helping them bring authentic, inspiring stories to life for their audiences. And I want to thank all of our partners for supporting that effort. We are also driving urgency through timely content, highlighting what's new, highlighting value and affordability messaging, as well as seasonal themes like skiing, golf tourism, and theme parks. We recently issued an RFP as well for a pop culture and screen tourism PR agency to help leverage entertainment trends like set jetting and to further expand our storytelling to international audiences. And I see that as a really important aspect of how we can really drive demand. We look forward to seeing many of you at our IPW press conference in Chicago in June as we share new insights, initiatives, and opportunities with international media. And on the screen here, you'll see a quick snapshot of some of the upcoming activity where you'll see our teams. And at that, I'll now turn the program over to Angie Briggs, our Chief Development Officer.
Thanks, Chris. Obviously, none of this could have happened without our partner participation. Our partners are just the cornerstone of everything we do here at Brand USA. And Brand USA led opportunities, as you can see from the stats on the slide, remain exceptionally strong. In just the first 5 months of this fiscal year, we're only 30 participations away from exceeding the total number of partner participations in all of last year. So engagement is high, which is great. We are deepening that collaboration because performance data for winter and spring initiatives are still pending, as it's noted on the slide. But we've already surpassed the total number of unique partner organizations that are participating in our programs with us. So it's really exciting. We're at an all-time high on how many partners across the country, and this is from big gateway cities all the way down to small rural areas. And that's certainly a large part of our initiatives here at Brand USA. So looking ahead, we're essentially on track to finish the year with record-setting engagement and are focused on building the momentum to deepen relationships and expand impact across the whole entire partner ecosystem. And clearly, my colleagues have spent a lot of time with our partners on the road in the past few months. One of the things that's been really important to us is to engage our partners a little bit more deeply and also to back up our planning so that we're more in line with your planning and you're able to budget and plan for, along with us, engagement in the international marketplace. So we're trying to couple strong participation metrics with a more intentional and integrated approach to industry engagement. Our goal is not only to bring partners more deeply into Brand USA's planning process, but to accelerate, like I said, to better accommodate your timeline. This started back in February. We had our first of hopefully many partner engagement sessions. We did a 2-day DMO industry input session in Washington, D.C. This gathered, brought a selection of partners into strategic discussions around sort of meeting the moment that we're in right now. And building organizational capacity to better serve the industry, both internally and externally. And a lot of the things we talked about were consumer trends, what's going on across the country and across the globe right now, travel behavior insights. We also looked at global analysis to inform opportunity areas and strategies to drive new visitation and increase visitor spend. This is just the beginning. As you can see, we have other upcoming moments in our year for engaging with our industry, such as IPW, DI's annual convention, US Travel's ESTO. We're also planning to have a partner webinar later in April, which you'll be hearing about really soon. So again, we're trying to be very intentional about what we're doing with our partners and engage them more deeply. You can also expect, I think, more regular communication from the Brand USA team, which I think is important as things are so dynamic right now in this world. So one of the things that we've been working really hard on is what we want to focus on in fiscal year 26. We've hinted to all these big moments and events that are coming up, a decade of big events. So I want to give Leah an opportunity to maybe share with us what our vision is a little bit.
Angie, if I may, before we start, I wanted to talk about the input session that you had back in February, and I was fortunate enough to be able to attend that, and it was a refreshing approach to the industry. I think everyone who was there engaged in some great candid conversations, and I want to applaud the Brand USA staff for being open and listening and engaging, and I hope that's something that continues in the future. So thank you all for that.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that feedback, and that's certainly our goal.
Thank you. First, I just want to say it's an honor to be here with the Brand USA team and also with our board of directors for my first board meeting. We're obviously planning for 2026. The programming that is currently underway and that output from our new strategic framework is going to be launching even sooner than the beginning of fiscal year 2026. It should be no surprise that data and insights are going to play a bigger role than ever in guiding not only our tactical decisions around things like market selection and market allocations, but even more importantly around messaging and tone. Many eyes of the world are going to be on the United States, and it's important that we direct that attention to what the world loves most about the US. To be successful, we of course have to recognize the current landscape and really ground ourselves in market-specific research that will pave the path to reaching those potential visitors with the right message. You mentioned the marquee events in the coming years, and they are an incredible platform to build that messaging around. These events provide our industry with a stage to ignite a unifying rallying cry to inspire visitation and even growth. Global enthusiasm for America runs deep. International audiences remain deeply engaged with American content and culture, a lot to what Chris was speaking about earlier. And these events have the potential to drive strong emotional connectivity and motivation to visit. And Brand USA is committed to leveraging these events to protect our market share while reigniting even new demand over time. So a fresh look at new messaging and creative will drive visitors to come here, to feel America and be a part of something bigger. So while we're not presenting that creative today, we really look forward to sharing more about this new territory in the coming months as we build to what will be a really exciting reveal at IPW. What we will share will really embrace a people-powered movement, showcasing the depth of American experiences. It has to be flexible and it has to be scalable. A concept that really adapts to the moments of celebration or even quiet inspiration that will resonate globally. So we look forward to sharing that with all of you soon. With that, I'm going to pass it back to Fred for final comments.
Good. Thank you, Leah. And thank you to the entire team for the great work that you continue to do. Mr. Chairman, that is an overview of all of the team's recent activities and how we are pivoting in the moment to continue to fish where the fish are, to remain agile and remain nimble, and all we can do to sustain demand for our destinations and for our business community. I will just note in closing that the next board meeting is scheduled for July 17th, and our team is happy to answer any questions from the board.
Excellent. Thank you, Fred, and thank you to the amazing team that you've assembled, and of course, all the others that may not have spoken that are part of the Brand USA team that are really working on not only 2026, but some key events coming in 2025. Which we're really excited about from a global perspective coming to the US. Jeanette, I look forward to what you'll be doing at IPW with AI. We all pretend like we know what AI is all about, but I know you're going to make us smarter, and I know that there's going to be activation in the booth. Chris, as you talked about key things in which you're focusing on, communication, PR, very key, especially right now, as we're focusing on where we are as a country and making sure the global community knows that they're welcomed here. Malcolm, clearly with MICE, the MICE market, which is important to me, and other markets that are extremely important to all of us. We applaud you and appreciate your efforts. And Angie, with what you're doing in terms of collaboration with so many partners, we thank you for what you're doing and focusing on the key efforts moving forward, 2025, 2026 and beyond. Leah, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. You got a lot on your plate, but you've already started off with really focusing on some key things in which we need to work on as an organization. And Aaron, of course, advocacy is extremely important. Our relationship with the U.S. Travel Association, something in which you're focusing on. And then Dawn, as we talk about audit, 10 years of a clean audit is nothing to look over. So thank you very much for coming in at a time whereas perhaps the finances weren't as great, but they're much better now under your leadership. So thank you very much for what you've done. A round of applause for you for that. Last but not least, Fred, they can't do what they do without great leadership. So it's probably been drinking from a fire hydrant over the last 8.5 months. So thank you for your leadership.
Thank you for your support.
With that, as we conclude, we'll ask the board if there are any questions in which you have to ask, or would you like to ask at this time? Including those that are not in the room. If not, we won't be taking public questions right now, but there'll be an opportunity to ask questions later. I think at this time we will conclude this meeting. The meeting is adjourned.